GPM, welcome to another day, our daily devotion for the month of April. We're continuing to pray for one another and to pray for our church and our community that we can meet together soon. But in the meantime, I'll be posting up these daily devotion. Let's continue to share and to pray for one another. Today's devotional comes from John chapter 2. So if you have or if you haven't, I'd encourage you to read John chapter 2. But what I wanted to point out today is this marks the first miraculous sign that Jesus performs to launch his public ministry. Before this, there isn't much that is talked about of what he did, but in John chapter 2, the first miracle and the sign that he performed is at the wedding of Cana, where Jesus turned the water into wine. What I've noticed and what I want to point out today is, yes, it was a fantastic and a miraculous thing that Jesus did. He provided for a time when people needed it most. But I want to point towards your attention to verse 10. All right, verse 10, it says, "And he said to him, every man at the beginning sets out good wine, and then when the guests have well drunk, then the inferior. But you have kept the good wine until now." So the tradition was, in a wedding feast, people would set out the good wine. So people would drink it and say, "Oh yeah, these guys spent a little extra. They're giving us quality wine." And then once they get a little bit, too much wine, they start bringing out these cheap wine. Because now at that point, people really don't have much judgment to judge whether this is good or bad wine. But the wedding master says, "You have kept the good wine until now." And what I want to point out is that Jesus, I think, intentionally brings out this as his first sign to show that he is the good wine that is being kept until then, right? Everything that happened to then, all the Old Testament and all the prophets and all the people that came before were inferior. They were all pointing towards Jesus, and Jesus became that good wine that is going to come afterward. And so how does that relate to us today? Well, today we are living in the time where the good wine is being poured upon us. We have direct access to God. We have the Holy Spirit, and we could be that good wine to our neighbors and to our friends around us. And so let's not stop loving one another and to pray for one another and to hold each other accountable in this time until we could see each other face to face. And so we miss you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow again. All right, take care.